when you were shooting Adolescence in North England, in a small town. Clearly, you had no idea the level of impact that show is going to have across the world. I mean, the British Prime Minister saying the show should be watched in, in the Parliament, in schools. In India, literally every single person is talking about Adolescence, including some of the best filmmakers saying, "Why can't we make this?" What's the reaction you've got, or the impact you felt that you had no clue about, or what's been the
Exactly what you said. When we were making this show, we were in a small town in the north of England, and we were just like a family. We were a family, and everybody was so passionate about what we were making, and that's so important. On everything you do, everyone you want everybody to be passionate, but there felt like some different energy on this show. We thought it might do well in the UK, because of the subject matters and things like that, and because it's set in the UK, we thought it might do okay in the UK. But then when it came out, and it was, it's just had this sort of ripple effect, and now it's just growing and growing and growing. I just had a text message before I got on these Zooms from Steven Spielberg to say, what an incredible show. He's watched it twice, and it just blows my mind. It blows my mind. I'm so grateful.
You're making a British series that is very, very important to the culture you're from. But what made you think it led to the level of travel it's had, especially in a country like India?
Well, I think that the themes are they try. It's a global thing. This
Right.
whole thing with social media and what our children are doing. We have parents, and then you have another parent, which is the phone and social media, and that's a real problem. I've got an 8-year-old daughter, and I'm absolutely terrified for what is what is coming in the future and what's happening now.
Right.
So I think that's what sort of what's resonated across the world is the fact that we've all got mobile phones, and if you're a parent, then I think a lot of parents, or a lot of people certainly from my generation, we didn't grow up with mobile phones or the internet.
Right.
So if we were in our rooms, in our bedrooms, we were most likely probably playing a board game, or playing a musical instrument or something like that. But now your children are in the bedrooms, and you don't know what's happening. And it's terrifying. And I think that's what has resonated personally.
Right. Phil, everyone's obviously talking about the manner in which you made the series, and of course, you've done Boiling Point before, and you've done that one take, series before. Now, my apprehension is that people are going to watch this, and it's going to become a trend of sorts. While they will go into the how of the making of it, and that everyone has, they will not get into the why, or why you did what you did. This particular form is specific to this story. Why did you choose? And it's important for other filmmakers to know why you chose to shoot the way you do.
Look, the one take format doesn't lend itself to everything. It has to be the right, first of all, the right subject matter, in my opinion, but also the right tone of show or movie. I mean, there's been some incredible one take movies that have been out there, like Russian Ark was one of the most incredible shows. I mean, Alfred Hitchcock did it in Rope, and so I'm not the first person to do it, but I think for me, like I say, it doesn't lend itself to every piece. But with Adolescence, it just felt like we could tell this story slightly differently over a certain period. And, what we wanted to do was we wanted to dip the audience in for 1 hour in this specific moment in time, then pull them back out again, dip them back in again in another moment in time. And so, audiences are incredibly smart. And I feel like sometimes, TV shows or movies, they tend to be slightly expositional, or they tend to spell things out for the audience. This is what you need to be, no, but I think if we can just be slightly voyeuristic in a moment in time, it's almost like you can't take your eyes off the screen, and it forces a specific perspective on a subject that you don't get any respite from. And so we're so used to going back to mobile phones. We're so used to watching programs or watching movies on our TVs, and we can just be on our phones at the same time. So you watch it with one eye on the TV and one eye on the phone. But with something like a one take, there's no looking away. If you're in a movie theater or if you're in a theater, you switch your mobile phone off and you pay attention. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with the show, is for people to sort of sit up and pay attention, and also be able to just figure out what's happening as they go along, and join the dots themselves.
Right. Is there a particular scene, for instance, in the show that if it was not a one shot, it would turn out very different?
There's plenty. There's the thing with the one shot is you are so restricted in terms of what you can do that you have to sort of think on your feet at times. Certainly when we were rehearsing, and when Jack was writing the scripts with Stephen, we would pass them back and forth, and I'd be saying to Jack, we can't do that because physically impossible, or we need to be on this person for this line, and then we can't physically get around to this line. So it probably would have made our lives easier if we could cut, but at the same time, where's the fun in that? It's like I say, it's we sort of, when Jack and Stephen deliver the scripts to me, I would sit with my cinematographer Matt, and we would go through it. And the bigger things didn't scare us, like jumping through windows or attaching the camera to a drone and flying off. Those are the things that we were like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? Let's figure it out, because it could be amazing, So it was an incredible way to work, an incredible way of working.
Do you have a favorite scene?
That's like asking, do I have a favorite child?
Right.
So no, I don't think so. I'm just incredibly proud of the show, and incredibly proud of every single person that worked on it.
But when you were doing this, Phil, and the fact that you had to do this in one take, what does the editor do in a film or a series like that? Do they not exist at all? Because you could technically take portions and really match them really well between the takes, but that's a choice you made. Why would you make that choice? Because it makes your life simpler, and it's still a one shot.
I mean, if you're going to do a one shot, why not just do the one shot? Like, we'd done it before with Boiling Point, so we knew it could be done, and it was it's more of a challenge. I think if you're going to put blind cuts in it, then you might as well cut to something else. You know what I mean? Because stitching them together, when it is possible to be done, then why bother? In terms of the editor, we had an editor on board because you can't just take the card from the camera and put it on Netflix. we have to go through a lot of processes. So the editor's job became slightly different. And each night after we'd done the 2 takes, we would sit. Me and the producer would sit, and we would watch them back. So the editor needed to line all of that up for us, and then she would also clip off the 2 ends, so the start and the beginning, and then she would put some temp titles in there, and when we were shooting, we would look at the other takes, and we would play around with music and see what worked and things like that. So it was incredible. It was a really important job, but there's literally no cuts whatsoever.
Right. Final question, Phil. That's what everyone's been asking. The opening sequence of the series, you see these kids' pictures. Who are these kids?
Oh, in the second episode,
the opening credit pictures, you see these children in the opening credits of the show. Who are these children?
So in the first episode, it's Jamie as a kid. In the second episode, it's all of the kids in the show. It's all of the kids in the school. It's all of them as children. In the third episode, it's Katie and Jamie. In the final episode, it's the family before anything happened. And so the idea was to show the audience how fragile we are as human beings, and to see these children, babies, they're babies. These babies can grow up to do this, horrific act, or they can be killed, like, you know, in this horrific way. And it was important to show them in their vulnerable, childlike babies, you know. Yeah.
Well, the point came through really well. Thank you so much, Phil, for your time.
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank
And
you
all the
so
best.
much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Take
Congratulations
care.
again.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.